What's going on, guys? My name is Derrick. Welcome to my channel, Superbike Life. In today's episode, we are going to be detailing, cleaning, and doing the chain and everything on my MV Agusta F3 800. Now, this isn't necessarily a how-to, it's more of a how I go about detailing my bikes and maintaining them. Whenever I roll up to a bike night or a meet or something like that, I often get comments on my bikes about how good they look. Not just because of the components that are on the bike, but how well they're taken care of. My bikes are always clean and they look good. So I'm going to show you what I use, the products that I use, the techniques that I use to clean the bike, to clean the chain, and have your bike looking fantastic. So stay tuned. All right, guys, so here are some of the products that I use, as well as the towels and things over on the bike. And let's start with the process that I use, and then we'll go through the products over here and why I chose them. So I use what's called a 2-bucket wash. So both buckets, as I dig down in here, both buckets have these grates in here. And what they're for is as you run your mitt over them, the dirt and everything is trapped in the bottom and it doesn't come back up in your wash or your rinse water. So I have both of those in the bucket, and I use a 2-bucket wash because the goal of washing your bike is to get it clean, right? So if you take one of your mitts and you dunk it in here in the soap, you put it on your bike, then you dunk it back here in the soap, eventually this water gets dirty. And by doing that, all you're doing is taking dirt and putting it back on your bike, which damages the paint. And the goal is not to do that. The goal is to make the bike look spectacular and not damage the paint. So what you do is you take your rag, you dump it in here in the soap, you wash your bike, and then you come back here and you put it in the rinse water. That rinses all the dirt off. You rub it on the bottom there on the grate, and then you put it back in here to grab some more soap. That keeps your mitt relatively clean, and you don't run dirt back onto your paint. So 2-bucket wash. We got one with soap and one with just water. Both have those grates in there. As you see, one bucket has this red ring around it where the other one does not. I know it's a little bit hard to see, but it's what I've had. And that's how I can tell them apart. That's how I tell that one has soap in it and this one has water. And you can say, well, Derrick, one has suds and one doesn't. Well, once you start rinsing your mitt in here, this will have suds as well and won't be as easy to tell. I also use 2 mitts. And the reason is we don't want to contaminate or damage the paint on our bike. So I have one mitt that is just for the wheels, and then one mitt that's for the body. One does not use the other. If this ever touches the ground or the wheels, I throw it in the wash and it doesn't touch the bike again. This never touches the paint or the fairings on the bike. This is just for wheels, okay? It's what I learned and it works for me. I have a couple of small brushes here. This one sort of splits so I can get in between spokes and things. And this one is a sort of a soft bristle brush so I can get into nooks and crannies. This is a nice hard plastic wired brush for tires. And this is a softer one for wheels. And then over here, I have the actual products that I use. So there's a couple of things over here. We have soaps, we have polishes and waxes. We have our DA machine, and then we have our chain cleaner and lube over here. So I use this Chemical Guys Mr. Pink stuff. That's my soap for the bike. I choose to use that because it's pH balanced. So if you're using Dawn or just some regular old house liquid, that's not pH balanced and you're damaging your paint. Over here I have Gary Dean's Infinite Use Detail Juice. So I use this primarily to lubricate my detailing pad, my polishing pad. I have some V36 medium cut polish, and I use that with the DA to help remove scratches and things from the paint. And then I have some butter wet wax. This is really cool. I happen to like this because I don't have to wait for that to set up to use it, meaning your normal waxes, you put on your bike or your car or whatever, you wait a little while till they haze up, then you have to wipe them off. I can use this right away, right off the wash. I don't even have to dry the bike. I can use it when the bike is wet or the car is wet, or I can use it when it's dry. Either way, I don't have to wait. I put it on, wipe it off, and I'm good. So then over here I have my, my chain lube. I don't have my cleaner for some reason. I have to go and get it. But I have my Lucas Oil chain lube and then a chain cleaner. So you're going to need one of these to scrub your chain very well. They come, and I've seen a bunch of them, but get something to scrub up your chain really good. All right, so over here we have some towels. And you would think that towels are towels, right? Well, no. I thought that for a long time too, and I figured, you know, I should figure out how to do this properly. And I found out that after 20, 30 years of cleaning my bikes and trucks and cars that I was actually doing it wrong, and I was causing more damage. I was causing more damage to the paint than anything else. So over here I just have a stack of regular towels. You're going to need a stack to clean your chain. You're probably going to want some that you're going to throw away at the end. Make sure that they're not your good towels, because these are going to get really nasty, full of oil and cleaner, and typically there's no saving those things. So grab some crappy ones. Over here I have my wax pad. So this is how I apply my wax to the bike or car or truck. And then I have a series of towels. So and I should say a series of microfiber towels, and then on the very bottom I just have a regular cotton, your general household towel. Now, why do I use these? This is what's called a waffle weave microfiber towel. So you can see the waffle weave pattern, that's why they call it that. I use this for runny liquids. So if I'm spraying the bike with some detail, or I'm drying off a wet area, or I'm applying some like Windex or something to the plastics over here, that's what I use this for. I don't use this for waxing. I don't use this for applying wax or taking off wax, just runny liquids. This towel over here is a plush microfiber towel. It's called a seamless because there are no edges on here like you see on this waffle weave towel. These seams and edges, when they touch your paint, can damage it. So I use this one for runny liquids, and I use this one for removing polishes and wax. Nothing else. I do not apply or wipe off runny liquids with this. I use this for removing polish and wax, nothing more. And I know that this will never damage my bike or paint or car, truck, or whatever. It's really, really plush. I'll put a link in the description below where you can get these. All microfiber towels are not treated equal. For example, this is a crappy microfiber towel that you get from AutoZone or O'Reilly's or your local parts store. And I don't know if you're going to be able to hear it, but when you run your hand over it, it sort of grabs like sandpaper. You do the same over here, and that's not the case. This is nice and plush. So again, this is a seamless. You know that there's no stitching on the edges so that it doesn't ruin your paint. So again, this one is for removing polishes and wax. This one is for runny liquids. This one is for damaging your paint. And you're probably asking, then why is it sitting on your paint, Derek? Well, because I got to clean the bike and I got to do it anyway. So it's not the end of the world. Do not, if you want your paint to look spectacular, do not grab your household terry cloth towel or whatever and start to dry your bike or car with this thing. You are putting micro scratches in your paint, and it defeats the purpose. Don't use this thing. Don't use those things for anything other than wiping your hands and sopping up oil off the ground. Do not put that on your paint. It's all, again, you're just doing damage, and it's going to cause you more work in the end. So that's why I choose these particular towels. All right, before we get started, one of the things I forgot to mention was my Diablo wheel cleaner. I just mix it again. It's high concentrate, so I just mix it in a bottle. But this stuff clings to your wheels really good. So another product, I just forgot to mention it. Now, I actually have a suds cannon or soap cannon. I've seen a lot of people use them on their bikes and things. I tend not to use it on the bike because the last thing we want is soap and water getting down into electrical components on your bike. And with Italian bikes and European bikes in particular, they can be really temperamental if you get water where you don't want it. So one of the things I do initially is shower head, whatever, I set that to flour or the really softest setting. As you can see, this way I can control where the water goes and where I don't want it ultimately. So what I'll do is I'll just sort of wet the bike down real lightly. I'll try not to get water in or on electrical components, and then we'll start washing it. Okay, so now I'm going to grab my wash mitt. That's the green one. I use the blue one again for wheels. I'm going to grab the green wash mitt and just start washing my bike. Now, like when you're washing anything, you want to start from the top down. You don't want to start from the bottom up. The last thing you want to do is wash down here and then come up here, because all you're doing is taking dirt from down there and smearing it all on your paint, and we don't want to do that. So you want to start top and then work your way down. Okay, so now we're going to take our wash mitt and we're going to put it in our rinse bucket, rub it on the bottom, wring it out, and then we'll go back to our soap bucket. And we'll continue to wash. Now you'll notice that I'm only going halfway down the bike because, again, I don't want to contaminate paint, so I don't want to go all the way to the bottom and then come over here, come back to the top half of the bike and then smear dirt and grime and rocks and sand or whatever it is you picked up on your bike all over your paint on the top. So now I'm going to go back to the rinse bucket. And now back to the soap. All right, now I can go all the way to the bottom here. But there are some people that don't believe in washing your bike with soap and water, and they do what's called a dry wash. I'm not a big fan of dry washes. I'll just say that. I won't say it's any worse or better or anything like that. I'll just say that I am not a fan of dry washes. Right. We'll grab our hose and rinse it all off. Notice I'm not spraying a concentration of water in any one spot, because again, we don't want water sitting on any electrical components. Although, I mean, if your bike is less than 20 years old, all of the connectors should be at least water resistant, if not waterproof. But sometimes manufacturers don't always think of that. All right. So just like before with the wheels, you can be a little bit more generous with your water. I'm going to soap them up or wet them up really well here. I'm going to grab my Diablo wheel cleaner and spray this on here. You'll notice the bike is on 2 stands, so I could do specifically this. I could spin the wheels around here. And this product is pH balanced, so it won't hurt or damage the paint on your bike, wheels, or anything else. And I'm spraying this on the tires as well as the wheels. So now I'll grab my hardwire brush for the tires. And I say hard, but it won't damage your wheels because they're actually plastic or vinyl, or I don't know what they are, but they're not metal. So, and now I'm going to grab my my blue wheel mitt here. Clean off the rotors, hit your calipers, and this goes into the rinse bucket. Bring it out, back in here. Now this is where your small brush would come in to get in little areas like this, like your axle, and tiny areas that your mitt can't get in. Really get in and scrub that Brembo so the red pops. All right. Grab both buckets. Now, while cleaning your bike and doing you know, cleaning your chain, it's always a chicken and the egg thing. I have not found a chain wax that doesn't fling. Despite what the manufacturer says, they all fling. And there's always, again, it's a chicken and the egg thing. Do you clean your chain first? Because you're eventually going to get dirt and crap all over your wheel and all over some of the bike. So you clean it first and then wash your bike. Well, to wash your bike, your water and suds get all over your nice clean chain. Or, again, you wash your bike first, then you do the chain, and then all that crud flings on the back of your fender. Either way, you often end up cleaning something twice. So, get the tires. Actually, forgot to do the mirrors. I'll rinse this off real good. Grab some soap. All right. So now our bike is all clean. The bike, the wheels, that's all clean. So we have to dry it off now, right? So your first inclination would be just grab a towel and start wiping, right? No. If we could wash the bike without touching it to ensure that we're not going to damage the paint, then that's what we would do. So we're going to dry the bike with air. All right, so I have my air attachment. It doesn't have that thing on the end. I don't know. Someone stole it. Who knows what happens. And I got my Waffle weave towel. I'm going to use this for runny liquids, all right? Now we just start drying the bike. Now, I forgot to mention, if at any time your wash bit or your drying mitt hit the ground, that's a wrap. You don't want to pick that thing up and put it back on your paint. So make sure you have more than one of these around just in case. You never know if it slips out of your hand or whatever. All right, guys, so our bike is all clean. It's all dry now, or as dry as we need it to be. Now we're going to move to cleaning the chain. So let me get the camera. I'll bring it in here a little bit closer because we're losing sunlight rapidly here. And I want to get this done and then move it inside so that we can start doing the polishing and wax. All right? All right, guys, so we are over here at the back of the bike by the chain. I have some really crappy shop towels, again, things that I'll probably throw away, but if I was in the garage, I'd probably also have some paper towels to lie under the bike, particularly under the chain and rear sprocket, because stuff is going to fly off here and get all over the ground, and I don't want that in my garage or on the garage floor. But I'm outside in the driveway, so I can just hose this off just as easily. I have my chain cleaner, just some average everyday chain cleaner you can get from Cycle Gear or whatever, and I have my Lucas Oil Chain Lube. I'll put links to both of these products. And then obviously my chain cleaning brush. You'll need something along these lines to get in there and scrub. I'll adjust the camera here in a minute, but the goal here is pretty simple. We spray this stuff on the chain, we scrub this really good, we grab our rags, we wipe it off. So again, grab our cleaner and just spray the wheel. Now, where you spray, it's going to get on something you just cleaned, because I have a small area in here, and when I spray this, it's probably going to get on this fender or this lower panel here, it's definitely going to get on my tires and wheels. It's going to get on stuff here, so I'm going to need to re-clean that. So again, it's a chicken and egg kind of thing, all right? There's no way to spray this on your chain where you didn't just clean your bike. So, yeah. So I'm going to just spray and rotate the wheel. And you can see it's getting all over the ground, all over the nice wheel that I just cleaned. All right. Grab our brush and simply start scrubbing, rotating the wheel as we go. All right, now I'm going to rotate it. And I'm going to really get the top here as well. Now we grab one of our crappy shop towels and we're just going to wipe down the chain. And you'll see how nasty this is and why we probably don't want to keep it afterwards. All right, well there you go. That's what's on your chain. Now would also be a good time to adjust your chain if it's too tight or too loose. I adjusted this one just before we started cleaning, so it's okay, but now would be an awesome time to do that. And you should check your chain tension at least weekly. Doesn't mean you have to adjust it, but you should check it. So now you can do a couple of things. The chain still has some cleaner in it, so you can take this for a ride around the block or whatever, just to get that stuff flung off. But again, if you just cleaned your bike, it's going to fly all over your nice fairings, and you're going to need to wipe those down and clean them again. But for cinematic purposes, we're going to fast forward and pretend like we did. And I'm going to grab my Lucas Oil chain lube. And then the goal here is to get the chain lube not on the outside of the chain, not on the rollers here in the middle. The goal here is to get the chain lube where the O-rings are in between the links. So if you're just grabbing this thing and just spraying your chain, you're wasting chain lube. The goal here, again, is to get it in between, down in the O-rings down in there. On either side. So what we'll do is we'll hold this in position, we'll spin the wheel, and we'll try to get the lube directly on the O-rings. Then we'll do the same thing on the back half of the chain. We'll let it sit for a minute, and then we'll grab a rag and wipe it off. All right, so now that was the front half, so now we'll point it at the back half. See, it's dripping all over our lower fairing that we just put on here. So now you want to just let that sit for a minute. Then we'll come back and just grab our rag, and then we'll wipe off the excess. And then I typically use a heat gun here on low, and I just point it at the chain, and I rotate the wheel and chain slowly. And this helps the chain lube seep down into that O-ring area. Now you don't want to grab your heat gun and just sort of leave it here in one spot. You'll start melting shit. We don't want to do that. But we do want to help the lube get down into the O-ring. So if you don't have a heat gun, then let this sit for a while, wipe it off, and then go for another 10-15 minute ride. Come back in, wipe it off, and then you're good to go. For the sake of time in this video, we'll say that it's been a few minutes, so now we'll just wipe off the excess. All right, you can see we still got some crappy in there. And now we'll roll the bike into the garage and we'll start hitting it with the detail. All right. Okay guys, so we are in the garage now. I have my DA polisher. This is just a a cheesy one, the Chicago Electric that I got from Harbor Freight. It has an attachment on here with my microfiber polishing pad. Bring that in there, it's microfiber. And I have my V36 medium cut polish, and then my Gary Dean's Go-Go Juice here. And then basically all we want to do here is we want to set our polisher. So my polisher here has a number of settings here, as you can see. I think 6 is the max, and we can go all the way down to 1. So we want to set it to the lowest level initially, and that'll make it spin pretty slow versus that. So all we want to do is we want to take our Go-Go Juice and spritz this. And the goal here is just to, not to soak it, but this provides a lubricant to putting on the bike. So then we want to take a couple of drops and put this on the pad here. There we go. Just like that. 4 dots. And then we want to come over here and we'll just touch this to the area that we're going to polish. And again, this is where the Gary Dean's detail juice comes in. That's set at 1. We're just going to put this on here, turn it on, and spread the polish. Okay, polish is spread, so now we can crank this up to 4. I never work higher than 4. There's really no need. And then we're just going to put medium pressure and move in a W pattern. So we'll move up and down in a W pattern, and then we'll come the other way across, coming down or up, whichever works best for you. All right, always turn off your polisher with it on the bike or you're on your surface. Don't lift it up because then shit could fly all over the place. So now we'll grab our seamless towel, fold it up a little bit here, and then we'll just wipe off said polish. But it just pops. And we will continue doing that over the rest of the bike. Now the one thing you do want to watch, and normally I wouldn't do this, have the cable hitting the bike. I would have it up over my shoulder, but I'm limited on outlets that I have here. Now the only thing you want to, well, there are a lot of things, but one of the things you want to look out for is your microfiber pad tends to heat up right here in the center. And when that happens, you need to stop or switch pads. The last thing you want to do is overheat the center of this pad or overheat the pad at all, because then it breaks down and you get a big like cratered divot right in the middle, and that's no good. So check your pad temperature every once in a while. If it gets too hot, change pads or just stop and take a break. So I'm gonna continue finishing the tank, the rest of the bike. I'll move the camera back and just sort of speed through this so you're not watching me polish the bike for the next hour. All right, guys, so our polishing is all done. Now it's time to wax the bike. Now you might be asking, why are you gonna wax the bike? You just spent all that time polishing it. Well, contrary to popular belief, waxing your car, truck, motorcycle, what have you, your paint does not make it shine. It does not make it pop. The process that we just went through, polishing the bike, buffing the bike, that's a paint repair process, and that makes your paint shine. Wax is just a paint protectant. Now, you may say, bullshit, Derek. Well, if you buy your products from AutoZone, O'Reilly's, Napa, whatever, that stuff has tons of fillers in it. And yes, it could make your paint shine. It's a one-step product. But it's not good because it has fillers, and those things fill in the cracks of your bike and your paint and things of that nature, which eventually just rise to the top again as all that stuff falls out. But if you're using quality products like the Chemical Guys stuff, like the Meguiar's Pro line, like the Buff Daddy stuff, like the Ammo NYC products, those products are good, high quality products. So I like the Chemical Guys Butter Wet Wax. There are some other products that work just as well, like the Meguiar's Pro line, like the Ammo NYC line of products, like the Buff Daddy products. Those are all fantastic products. But if you're pulling the stuff out of AutoZone, that stuff is crap. It's full of fillers, and it's really not good for your paint. And that's where you may be getting confused that waxing actually brings a shine to your paint. So I just have a regular applicator pad here. I'm going to grab my my Gary Dean's detail. I'm going to wet the pad a little bit. And then I'm just going to put a couple of lines on here. Just like so. Now there's no wax on, wax off, circular motion. None of that really matters. We just want to put this on here. I mentioned Ammo NYC. He is a professional detailer out of the New York area, hence NYC. Very good. He has a YouTube channel, and he really knows his stuff. So if you're really looking into, want to up your detail game, check that out. Ammo NYC, just like it sounds. He responds to all questions as soon as he can. He works on some fantastic vehicles. I mean, I've seen him work on Bugattis, McLaren 720S's, really nice. He just restored his own Porsche, which looks immaculate. But if you're really looking to get into detailing, I highly recommend checking out his channel. He's very detailed in how he explains things. And if you have any questions, you can email him or what have you, contact him on the site, and he typically responds relatively quickly. Okay, so wax is all on. And we just wipe it off. that simple. Now, obviously it's too dark outside, and you're really not going to get the full effect of the bike here in my garage under some LED lights, one of which is just about to die. So what I'll do is I'll finish wiping off all of this wax, and then we'll fast forward to tomorrow morning, and I'll bring this out in the sun, and you guys get to see what it looks like. Well, good morning, guys. Obviously, it is the next day. As you can see, we have the bike out here in the sun. Oh, look at those stone chips. I gotta get that fixed. That's what I get for riding on the highway so much. She is looking absolutely beautiful. So I am Derrick. This is Euro Superbike Life. If you like this video, please click like, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like it and you just want to smash it, then go ahead and do that too. Please leave me a comment either way. Let me know what you like, what you didn't like about this video, and I'll make the appropriate adjustments. Special thanks to Lucas Oils for coming on and being a sponsor. But I am Derrick. This is Euro Superbike Life. As always, until next time, guys, take care.